Hello there guys, Raj here, hope all of you are well. Today's review will be on Noir Epices, which is a fragrance by Frederic Malle. Frederic Malle is a brand that's been around for a long time. I don't know, I haven't looked up exactly, but I would guess probably around 20 years. And one of the best niche brands for me. Not always, I don't always want to like own everything from them, but I certainly respect how all of their compositions are put together. I think the quality of the materials are really good. It's a nice mixture between naturals and synthetics. I like the concept of the brand, putting the perfumer in the spotlight. So Frederic Malle is he's like the editor, whereas in this particular perfume, Michel Rudnitska is the perfumer. And I always find Frederic Malle fragrances to have really nice depth, or even when there's not depth there, the fragrances still shine, even though if it's a linear fragrance. In this one, I've had Noir Epices for a while. I've had it in different forms actually. I had a 10 ml, I had two samples, one of which is an official one, which I'll show you now, and currently I have the 3.5 ml. So this is how the official samples look from Frederic Malle. Pretty standard from the outside, but it does contain this pretty cool looking red sample here. And this one is, I don't know how I got my hands on this. It's a 1.2 ml. I don't know if I was given that for free, or I can't remember. Also, they come in this 3.5 ml little sort of travel spray. And it comes out like this. It contains a little thing there which just simply gives the ingredients and the name, and then it comes in this, which the packaging on this little atomizer is obviously looks like the packaging for the full-size bottles. So there you go, it's a nice little nice presentation here. So when I first owned Noir Epices in the 10 ml, I think I actually sold that fragrance. I was using it, I probably got about halfway through and then sold it on. Not sure why I sold it. It's not that I dislike it, but it's definitely one of those that in the opening can be a little bit tricky. But I got another sample and I got the 3.5 ml, and I have to say I really enjoyed this fragrance. In terms of the notes, in the top there's orange and geranium. In the middle notes there's clove, nutmeg, cinnamon and pepper. And in the base notes there's patchouli and sandalwood. Frederic Malle fragrances come in various different sizes, as I've shown you. There's also a 30 ml spray, and the 100 ml spray will cost around £195. So it's definitely up there in terms of pricing. Is it worth it? Well, I'm about to give you my opinion. So occasion for this one. It's a very classy fragrance. I think it should be worn in more evening, night out occasions. I have worn this to work a few times, but I felt like I was a little bit, what's the word? Not overdressed, but over perfumed. I don't know, it felt too good for work, basically. A couple of applications underneath the chest work really well, though, when I am at work. Performance on this is excellent all day, going from the morning all the way up until the night. Projection in the opening hour or hour and a half is quite strong, so maybe that's a great thing for you, or depending on where you're going, you might want to take that into consideration. I feel actually that Noir Epices is unisex. It was I watched a video on this online, and when it was originally made, it was made with a female in mind. But Frederic Malle asked the perfumer to change things up slightly, make it a little bit more spicier, and I feel this is a unisex fragrance, although the opening, I just have a feeling some men potentially might find this quite feminine, but it does change quite a lot. Just my opinion, really. Yeah, so in terms of the opening for this fragrance, this is actually the part of the fragrance that I would say I border on disliking it. If you spray too much, it can give you a sort of a nauseating feeling, to be honest. I've done a little spray, and the opening has kind of worn off, but what you do get is quite a strong potpourri scent. It's intensely rosy, powdery. It's the orange is quite sharp and almost like sort of a shock to the system, and the geranium in there is adding another sort of waxy green floral element in there, and it's all a little bit too much for me. With this fragrance, if I am spraying it behind the ears, I don't like to spray too much. It becomes a little bit just overwhelming. Underneath the shirt, underneath your whatever you're wearing, on your chest, on your wrists, and then the fragrance will project and waft off the wrists really nicely. I think that's the better way to wear this fragrance. So after about half an hour, actually probably about an hour, this intense potpourri aroma starts to fade, and what you're left with pretty much for the entirety of the fragrance is something that is absolutely sublime. It gives me a almost Christmassy feeling, like a mulled wine. There's lots of notes in here like the cinnamon and the clove and the orange, and it does actually kind of smell like red wine mixed in with all these spices to make a mulled wine. But it's quite rich, and it's almost like this lipsticky, almost powdery type of nuances in the fragrance still linger and are still kind of there after about an hour or two. Then after, when you get into the mid and pretty much going into the dry down, the spices come through, and they're very smooth. They're not sharp. They're not going to sort of affect the nose too much. They're very, very warming spices, which is kind of why I get this Christmassy feeling. The combination of the clove and the cinnamon and the woody aromas make this really, really addictive, super classy, super elegant. And what I like about Frederic Malle fragrances is that they don't just like start off really loud, or they don't start with a bang and then fade away and disintegrate. A lot of them hold their structure, and I think that's down to just the quality of the ingredients. And you're paying a lot more for these fragrances, so to be honest, you would expect that. They're expertly made, and I think this one is no exception. There's almost like a kind of like this a black pepper spice that's coming through as well. It's a melange of spices that does it takes this fragrance to just another level. The opening was nice and was interesting, but I didn't think it was nice. Then it sort of smooths out and melts into the skin, and it's called Noir Epices, and I could see you wearing this in a black tie environment. If you're a man, obviously you're wearing a suit, a tuxedo, a black tie. If you're a woman, you would be wearing a ball gown, a cocktail dress, or something like that. It's a really interesting fragrance. I wish I liked the opening a little bit much. If I did, I probably would get a full bottle, but I'm definitely going to enjoy wearing this one until the end. Yeah, I mean, straight away from the cap is so intense with that geranium and orange. It's almost, it's a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. But then on the skin, as I said, it's just heavenly. It's really addictive. When I wear this at fragrance to work, when I've sprayed up the chest, I sometimes I sit at my desk and I just waft the fragrance up. I absolutely love it. Fragrance a rating for this, I'm gonna go somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9. Probably because of the opening, I'm gonna go 8.5, which is, you know, a good score. Guys, let me know, what do you think about this fragrance if you have tried it? What about the brand Frederic Malle? Where does this rank? Is it one of your favorites or not really one of your favorites? Do you not really know the brand too well? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, and check me out on Instagram if you feel like it, if you like what you see. Take care. See you soon.